Right. I'm in my live stream now. We transition. I'm transitioning. Thank you for joining. Hopefully, we're going to have an entertaining discussion. And what I do want is to have people that disagree with me, because I haven't seen many in the comment section. It's like, oh wow, V is having a sensible take. Am I? I don't know. I hope I am, because I am so like bewildered of seeing the same stuff over and over again. Like people having the exact same takes. And it's so annoying, right? Like you have the Johnny Depp trial, right? So like the Johnny Depp trial shows you a couple of footages, footages. You get a couple of recordings, right? And Johnny Depp looks really bad. Like you listen to those recordings, he looks like an asshole. And then the context is being laid forth, and you get to see that there's actually more things that have been said, which people didn't listen. And all of a sudden, Johnny Depp doesn't look like an asshole, right? So I'm not saying that in this particular case is the same. But what I am saying is, like, when are people going to stop judging other individuals based on 3 minutes of fucking footage? Huh? Do you not think that if you were being monitored, if you had like a security camera or whatever, and they were monitoring you for like every single day of the year, you would not have like someone be able to pull up a little bit of footage to make you look like an asshole? Is that what you're saying? This is what really pisses me off about all of this. It's like the mentality of judging people based on like just a couple of sound bites, and then saying that, oh, you understand everything there is to know about them. It's very annoying. And not to mention, if you look at the camera footage, there's actually a couple of seconds that are missing. So why weren't those edited out? You know, like you have a lot of other seconds where nothing is being said, but it's like just that particular part that's being removed. And also the fact that the wife is so fucking calm, you know, like there is the possibility that maybe she's used to him. But usually, again, I grew up in a very diverse and enriched neighborhood with people from all walks of life, and when the arguments happen, both parties are raising their voice. Like you don't have just one person that's being like normal about it. This is the only rational opinions. Camera on everyone having hot takes on Crowder for a year, and they need to make it public so we can shame him. Let me put it this way, right? Like you have those reality shows. This is what I told Sargon as well. Like Sargon disagrees with me. There are these reality shows like Big Brother House. But even like the one where they get many people in a room, and the idea is to get them to hook up and get married, right? Whatever. These reality shows where you get people together, they have worse arguments than what I have seen with Crowder here. Like Hell's Kitchen has worse arguments and worse takes than what I've seen with Crowder. Like, let's stop pretending that this is like something. I don't know. Like, I'm even trying to figure out like a situation where you would watch and you'd be horrified, right? He's a douchebag, fine. Like in those 3 minutes, but I don't know what happened. And the fact that no one is asking, and this is another thing that bewilders me. Fix my hair? I will never fix my hair, Engrad. This is my brand. Like, if I fix my hair, people will be wondering, it's like, where is V? Not to mention, if I fix my hair, I would probably have like 300 viewers or more. Jesus. How will I be able to talk to the chat in that situation? But anyway, right, so as I was saying, the idea that people don't ask, it's like, well, why didn't the wife have the car? Because this is what I don't get, right? Like, I'm looking at the argument. Let's actually look at the argument. This is annoying. V, strange in heated argument that one party wife would be so calm and full of compliment. I actually did talk about that. I raised that point just earlier. I guess you weren't here. But let's look at the argument, right? So, Steven Crowder insists that Hillary, his wife's name is Hillary, not the politician, the pregnant woman. So, Steven Crowder insists that Hillary not take their own car to run errands as it would keep him housebound, and that she at nearly 8 months pregnant should take an Uber. I don't fucking understand, like, okay, so if she is 8 months pregnant, then taking a Uber is actually safer than driving a car. You know, because if you have like an early pregnancy or a complication, you're not going to be able to drive. Like, if this is the mentality, right? Like, if we're actually going around with, like, oh, well, she's 8 months pregnant, then taking the Uber is actually safer. But besides that, like, here in Romania, being 8 months pregnant doesn't make you crippled, right? Like, you're not... Well, crippled isn't the English word I need to use because, well, see, English isn't my first language, so I'm making these mistakes. Bedridden. Bedridden is what I should... Right. Like, being 8 months pregnant doesn't mean you are bedridden. And I will tell you something else that the left disagrees with, right? Like, these are the same ideologues that push pregnant Spider Woman. Like, 8 months old pregnant and she's fighting crime and shit. Like, the left would be the first, the feminists would be the first that say, well, actually, just because she's pregnant doesn't mean, like, she's disabled. But it's true. Like if she's 8 months pregnant, at least in my country, right, where we're poor and people need to work for a living, there are pregnant women going around with the bus, going around with the public transport, but I guess it's because Crowder is rich, so people have different expectations. That's fine, but an Uber is not unrealistic. I refuse to believe that. Like, there is no harm in taking an Uber. Like, he is not asking her to go jogging. He's not asking her to take a hike, right? He's not asking her to climb the fucking mountain. It's like, take an Uber. That's just... I don't know. Am I wrong? Hold on. Alright. I'm doing two things at the same time. Pregnant Spider Woman. No, it's not trolling. Alright. So people don't know. Right? Like, cause it was so fucking shit, it didn't sell, right? So that's why I don't know. But this was actually like a feminist thing. Like, they expected women to buy it. But it didn't happen. Like, this did not sell. Apparently people preferred buying manga. But yeah, no, this is official. Like, this is in the actual Marvel comics. This went forward. This was science. It's like Nancy Pelosi. It's like, okay, this is science. This is going forward. We're not debating. I think it was when she had to pay another $1 billion on healthcare. Giving it to Big Pharma or some shit. And she's like, oh, this is science. This is going forward. No debate. Okay, like, it's the same. Like, someone at Marvel looked at this and were like, okay, well, this is science. This is going forward. Like, no woman... which is at this stage of pregnancy, is going to go out and fight crime. No fucking way. Like, of course, she's not bedridden. Like, I'm not contradicting myself. But she's not going to purposefully position herself in harm's way. Right? Taking an Uber is not something harmful. Unless it's in the United Kingdom. I hear they have, like, some really nasty events with Uber over there. But other than that, no, it is not, right? So, like, there is a line between putting yourself into the heat of battle, right? Like, being Spider-Woman and being a vanguard against crime, right? While pregnant, this is a big no-no. But the other one is also, like, being bedridden. Like, just because you're pregnant doesn't mean that you're disabled. Like, women insist this. Women themselves insist on this. Like, this is not something that I am saying, right? Like... Also, interestingly, how in Marvel, even when pregnant, women don't have boobs. Like, this is very interesting that I noticed. Like, a stylized choice. This is, like, before modern feminism. You can see that she doesn't have, like, the jaw. Like, right now, all the women in Marvel, they have, like, the strong jaw, the one that if I had when I was a teenager, I would walk into the class at the high school and all the ladies would be wet. If I had the jaw of... any modern Marvel female character. But no, back then at least they had feminine features. Like, you can notice that the breasts shrink. Like, that is an interesting trend with the female Marvel superheroes, right? Like, first, they got, like, the strong jawline. Then the broad shoulders. Their breasts started shrinking. And all the feminine features went away. To the point where you can literally Photoshop... remove the makeup and the hair, and they look like a man. Perfect example is not from Marvel, but it's from Tila, from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Yeah. So anyway, was the video cut up to be edited? I don't fucking know. I assume it was. See, Romania chat is asking if they cannot use the bus. They actually cannot. So there are these places in the United States which are... gated communities, right? Which is where rich people live. In other words, Steven Crowder. So in these gated communities, they look like this, which for some fucking reason, the American communists are saying they're horrible, right? Like, they believe this is communism, unironically, right? Like, they will say that this is the same like in Eastern Europe, where you have all the buildings that look the same. I guess, sure, why not? So these places are ruled by housing authorities. And the housing authorities, they force you to maintain the same color of your house. They force you to maintain the same standard for the lawn. Like if you don't cut the lawn, you get fined. And if you violate too many, they can even kick you out. So the reason they do this is to maintain the same value of the property, right? And this is where the rich people live. Now, they don't have buses in those areas. So yeah, it is true. Like if you want to get out of this place, I mean, you can walk, but good luck walking like 40 or 50 kilometers until you actually reach civilization. Or you can just get an Uber. There is no other way. Like, you need a car if you live in these places. So, yeah, they couldn't take the bus. But it's also, like, unreasonable, like, unthinkable for someone like Steven Crowder, which I think is, like, a multi-millionaire, right? Like, his wife taking the bus. Like, the left isn't even... Well, even the right-wingers are not going to even consider that option. Like, dude. Like, come on. The bus. The bus is for poor people. Like us. Bree, thank you for the $10. KFC's Twitter only follows 11 people. 6 men named Herb. And 5 members of the Spice Girl bands. 11 Herbs and Spice. Get the fuck out. That's hilarious. Oh my god, V, not all. I can guarantee to you with 100% certainty that Steven Crowder is part of the definition that I just gave. Like, there is no fucking way that Steven Crowder doesn't live in a gated community that allows buses. Like, the more rich the gated community, the more or less likely you have a bus there. Romania Chan likes the bus. Well, tough luck. Don't live in a gated community then. Why do they have one car? See, this is the question that I'm trying to unravel. The mystery of, like, the one car in the family of a multi-millionaire. What does his wife work as? Like, that's another fucking question. Everyone is like, why does he have one car? Like, okay, why doesn't she have her own car? Why can't she buy it? Like, surely you can buy your own shit, like, if you're an adult, right? A car isn't that expensive. Like, when my grandmother was in diapers, sure, you know, automobiles were just out, and it was very expensive to have one. But now, if you want a car, it's not expensive. Like, if you don't have money, you can buy a second-hand car. Like, they go under $500 if you're desperate. Sure, it will probably break, but, like, you can't get a car. Like, it's not, come on. Like, let's be honest for a second. Get a second-hand one, and you can still have it. I have not heard of a person wanting a car and not being able to get it. The more difficult part is getting a driving license. I have failed to do so. Like 5 fucking times. I am not meant to be behind the wheel. Alright? Like, seriously. You're safer. Like, there are people encouraging me to do shit. It's like, don't make me come to your country driving. No. Like, you are much safer where the fuck you are without me behind the wheel. You're putting, like, several kilograms of death in front of me. No. Like, and the intersection, you need to know who has priority. Get the fuck out. Intersections, yes. Anyway, right, so this was the argument, right? This is why the internet is upset, because his wife is pregnant, and he told her to take an Uber. He also berates her for not doing her wifely duties, like grocery shoppings, in a way that pleases him. I mean, look, in my house, I shouldn't say this, right? Because maybe I am going to get canceled now. But in my house, we have an arrangement, right? And I pay for the mortgage, the gas, the internet, the electricity, everything else that requires payment. And my wife pays for the groceries. Like, we have this understanding. Now, if my wife fails to do the groceries, then I say, all right, well, if you're not going to do them, then I will. You know, and this is literally what Crowder said in that fucking video. What is the problem? Like, yes, like, wifely duty. He has husbandly duties as well. They both have fucking duties because they're a family. They're two fucking people. The duties are being shared. What, you want her to do the grilling? Like you want her at 8 months pregnant to fix the car when it breaks down? Like, surely there must be some duties that some do and other, right? Like mowing the lawn. I saw that the lawn was mowed. I assume one of them did it, right? Like, should you ask the 8 months old pregnant woman to do the lawn and he should do the groceries? Like, this is what I don't fucking understand, because the internet is bewildered by this. Maybe it's the way that he phrased it, like wifely duties. It's like, okay, so you want her to do the husbandly duties then? Like, this is what I don't get. I'm being too rational. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry if I'm bringing some Eastern European rationality into this. But like, let's put it the other way around, okay? Like, let's say that I am married with a very ushikushi sakubasu. You know, like she's got like these size tits, really nice ass, very charismatic lady, and she brings home the bacon. Like, she is a very entertaining Twitch streamer, and every month she brings home like $30,000. Okay, right, fine. In that situation, if she says that I need to do the groceries, do you know what I fucking do? I do the fucking groceries and I shut the fuck up. Now, if I can't do the groceries because I'm sick or something, and she says, well, V, if you're not going to do your duties, then I will, I would be like, okay, I'm sorry, you know, it is what it is this month. I promise I'll do them next one. Why is this a drama thing? I don't understand. Like, can anyone explain to me? How should things happen in a family? Like, you have two people, right? And there's a multitude of tasks that require doing, such as mowing the lawn, fixing stuff that breaks, bringing income into the family, right? Like there's a lot of things. So which ones should she do and which ones should he do? Does marriage still have a place in modernity? Unfortunately not. The difference between the marriage, the way leftists view it, and the way conservatives view it, is that conservatives view marriage as a finality, right? Like as a part of the journey. So there's like 3 important steps in the life of a man. It's being born, being married, and dying. Like all of these 3 cause events that influence those around them, right? So like when you're born, you have the baptism and all that shit. When you're married, you have the wedding and all that shit. And when you die, you have the funeral. So basically, like, all of these 3 events bring people together and cause social ramifications. But they're supposed to be final. In the version of the modern left is that marriage is like just another, like the cherry on the top of the relationship. Let's put it like that, right? So like you can have a relationship, but marriage is not a finality. It's not a destination. It's just like the cherry on top. It makes the relationship look better. You get to put it on Facebook. You get to switch over there. It's like you're married now. You get to put a picture. Maybe you can make some money with the wedding. That's how marriage is viewed now. It's not viewed as something sacred. There's no more like you bring God into it. Like, what does God have to do? The wife is divorcing him, yes. But like again, like I don't know if obviously I don't think she's divorcing him because of this. That is no fucking way. But what I think can happen, and this is why I don't want to join the conversation about judging Crowder, is that when you have a divorce, like she's going to try to say that he was abusive, he was bad, he was mean, so that the judge gives her more of the shit. I mean, that's what I would do. Like, if I was to divorce my wife, which I'm not, but if I was, and if she was rich as Crowder, then I would have to prove that she's abusive, because it's my self-financial interest to take as much shit as I can from her, right? Like, that, because you're a human being. Your own interests are being placed forward, especially when you're talking about a divorce. Like, but anyway, right? So, if you have like security footage, like how the fuck does that leak? Who leaks that? Oh, the person that gets to select whatever they want from the footage, right? Because like, if I'm leaking stuff from my own personal footage from home, I'm not going to leak stuff that makes me look bad. I'm going to leak stuff that makes her look bad. Duh! Which is why I do not think it should be proper to comment on this. Maybe Steven Crowder is the worst person imaginable, right? Like, it's possible. Maybe he's abusive. I don't know. But I can't tell from watching 3-minute worth of footage. That's my opinion, and it's a shame. I probably wouldn't even, if I had an SO, a significant other. Do you think that she waited until the big deal from Rumble to get more money? Man, I don't know these things, but I would wait. Like seriously. Okay, money is something that breaks families apart. I'm not even going to talk about weddings, but I am going to talk about funerals. If you happen to be in court, like as a lawyer, as a judge, as a prosecutor, as someone that have seen many criminal cases and civil lawsuits, you will notice that every single time a rich person dies, you have the people that are the inheritors. So we're talking about brothers, sisters, right? Like children, grandchildren. Nothing breaks a family apart more than money. Like I have seen brothers becoming violent with each other. Like for an entire life. They had done absolutely nothing but show goodwill to one another. Like they were perfect brothers. The moment the rich dad dies, the moment they start being violent to one another. Sisters insulting themselves, calling themselves sluts and whores. In court. In public record. Like all of these things, like they happen. Whenever money comes in, people lose their shit. They stop being rational. Well, actually, they start being rational, and they stop caring about family ties and anything else. There is even a word about it. It's called vultures, right? So my question is, if this is between people tied by blood, right? And it's when they have money on the table, and this is how they act to each other. Why can't we say that the same thing can happen when you have a divorce? Why can't we say that the same thing can happen, like people who divorce, they may want to take as much as possible from the wealth. So in this situation, yeah, sure. Why couldn't it be that, like the party is interested in taking more cash? So like she would wait for the deal or Rumble. I can't say that she did. But at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if she didn't. I would probably wait. Like, if I'm going to divorce anyway, and I know that, okay, so I'm going to take half the shit, and the deal with Rumble is going to be in a couple of months, then obviously I'm going to wait. Duh. Thank you for the money, subject to change, and also Boris, he defined love as serving him. Her pregnancy thus gets in the way of love. He's also admitted to Rogan his inability to feel genuine emotions. Well, we're going to get to that. But many men, and actually many people have the same problem. Like, I even heard women saying that they have the problem of feeling genuine emotions. I don't know how to comment on that. But it is what it is, It's, I get psychopaths, they call them, right? Crowder had a deal with Blaze. I did not know that. Crowder, the incel years. I do not have any doubt that Crowder is going to be able to find a significant other after this relationship. He's got a fucking mansion. He's very charismatic. Like, there is no way he's not going to be able to seduce another woman. So I expect him to get married soon. Potentially, he may get divorced again. I mean, it's the way it works with these celebrities. Why? Because they don't have real problems. I'm sorry to say this, but like rich people genuinely do not have real problems. So when life is perfect, you seek drama, and well, drama finds you, and drama ends up with a divorce. Will Crowder go full H3? I don't know. But like, notice how all of... See, this is what scares me. I wonder if it scares other people as well. Every single goddamn content creator that I follow ends up divorcing, right? So like, we got DSP filing for a divorce. We got H3 got a divorce, didn't he? Am I wrong? What about Stephanie? Stephanie Sterling. Haven't followed that, but I did hear rumors. So chat, please connect me to the nearest fact checker. Ethan divorced, yes. Like there's a lot of content creators that end up divorcing. It is scary. I should be careful. This is what chat says. By the way, I may be wrong with these, so please let me know if I made a mistake. But I've been told by the chat that these individuals that I mentioned had a divorce. What do you think about the part where he said, "I will fuck you up"? Do you think that he may be an asshole employer as well? Probably, of course. But like, I do not justify what he did. Like, I am definitely on the side that those 3 minutes make him look like an asshole and like a douchebag. However, it's not illegal, right? And I don't know of a single couple that doesn't say things that they regret. Now, yeah, it is definitely something that you should never say. I mean, I never said to my wife ever that I will fuck her up. I mean, that's just, Jesus. But it's difficult to assess on 3 minutes. Like, what if, like, literally after? What if, like, literally after he apologized? It's like, well, I went a little bit too far. You know, what if before she also said something similar? It's not acceptable, don't get me wrong. Like, definitely not acceptable. But you have to take into account that I grew up in a very diverse and enriched neighborhood where any 2 minutes of any domestic dispute is 100 times worse than what I'm seeing here. So it is possible that I'm being a little bit desensitized to this shit. Again, like, there was no violence committed, right? Like, no shoving, no pushing. Hold on. There were no cops involved, so it is a threat, though. Right? But she didn't press charges, so it's just 3 minutes, lacking context, right? So he did fuck her up, which is why she's pregnant. Yes, that's what chat is saying. I can't deny that. But let's look. So tensions rise as Steven Crowder gets more agitating. Feeling some constraint, Crowder said to his wife. Crowder gets irritated and says that if Hillary... I love the fact that they keep reminding, pregnant. I am willing to bet that if she wasn't pregnant, the left would have reacted the same. It's just because it's Steven Crowder, right? Like, this is why they're upset. It's not because it's a pregnant woman. If this was, like, a thing that happened in a ghetto, and you would have had, like, like the same situation, probably worse. If you had the same, the worst situation, but it happened in a ghetto, no one would give a shit. Like, there are so many videos with domestic disputes in the ghetto, some even more violent, others less, but, like, no one talks about it. No one gives a shit. I find that to be very interesting. So Hillary takes the car. He can't go to the gym to see his parents or his friends. But that is like, okay, I don't understand. He said that she can take an Uber, right? Like, it's not like he's keeping her home. And also, take into account that this is how he gets money. Like, Crowder going to the gym and being the way he looks is part of his shtick. Like, at the time, I think, like, this was a couple of years ago. At the time, he did a lot of sketches and he took advantage into the fact that he is buffed, right? That's how he makes money. That's how they have the car. See his parents. Or see his friends. I don't know. Like, his friends may be, like, part of making a business deal or some shit. At the end of the day, right? I still don't understand why she doesn't have her own car. The only way out of it is discipline and respect, Crowder said to his wife. Hillary Crowder, in an attempt to leave, tells her husband that she loves him and that she's committed to the marriage. So, like, clearly they were having these types of arguments from before, right? Like, this is not a 3-minute thing. Like, we don't know what was said previously. I'm not going to assume, right? It's possible that she cheated on him. Like, you wouldn't know from just watching 3 minutes. Like, there can be a multitude of explanations, which leads me to the Johnny Depp lawsuit, where the initial tapes were just as bad. Probably worse, I would say. And a lot of people want to get Johnny Depp fired, right? Like, they tried to cancel him and stuff. And ends up, when context is revealed, that he was in the right. Now, all the people that tried to get Johnny Depp fired didn't apologize, didn't come back and say, oh shit, wow, like holy crap, like Johnny, you were the one being abused. Like you got assaulted by your woman. It's like, none of that happened, right? But like for some reason, the same people are willing to repeat the mistake now with Crowder. So Steven Crowder gets angrier and suggests that if she is committed to their marriage, she should put on gloves to give his dogs the medicine that his wife was concerned was toxic for pregnant women and walk their dogs. As they headed inside, Crowder got angrier and angrier. By his admission, via audio I reviewed, yelling angrily said, I'll fuck you up. According to both Crowders, Steven immediately pulled back and realized what he said. But by that point, Hillary was frightened and left the house. Okay, so like, literally, that is the only thing that I can say he did wrong. Right? Like, you should never say that. I think, like, to anyone that's your family, right? Like, you should never say that to, not just your wife, but you should never say that to your parents. You never should say that to your children, heaven forbid, right? Yeah, so, like, no, I agree with people. Like, but besides that, right, like, from what I can see is that he is unhappy that, well, he's bringing money into the household. And on top of that, right, like, he expects that the burden is shared, right? So, okay, fine, he brings money, he does all these things, right? But he wants someone to at least walk the dogs and do the groceries. But when she doesn't do the groceries, he offers to do it himself. So I do not see the unreasonableness. I mean, there's two people, right? Like, there are a multitude of tasks which require performing. Doing groceries, walking the dogs, paying for the bills are three of them. Right? So, like, if he does, like, some of them, like, he expects the other person to do as well. Because it's a marriage. And this is what they're absolutely talking about. It's like, well, you're not committed to the marriage. As in, like, well, what are you doing? Alright, so this is my take, right? I don't have any others, but, someone leaked a Ring doorbell video with Crowder getting upset. Yeah, someone. By the way, like, here's another question, right? This is a private recording from their own home. So this is what their private security camera is showing, right? So my question is, who has access to the footage? I don't think it's the security company, because if it was the security company, they would be sued. So the only person that leaked the footage is probably the wife. Now, if I am the one leaking footage, and then, you know, like, let's say I'm in a divorce, and I want to make my wife look bad, and I'm leaking footage. Am I going to leak footage that makes me look bad, or am I going to leak footage that makes her look bad? So it is what it is, you know, what can I say? I wouldn't be surprised if all that footage is now being deleted. Right, like, if Crowder goes to see his footage from those times in order to show a little bit of context, it's like, well, there's nothing to show because everything is deleted. I do not know if the wife gives it, but that's a reasonable assumption, right? Like, who else has access to it? Like, it's a security footage from your own home. Who has access to that? Him and her, right? Now, I don't think, like, he would leak footage where he looks bad. That would be very interesting, but I don't think that's the case. So the only other possible solution is that the company leaked it, in which case, he should sue the company, but he's not doing it. And the other solution is that the wife leaked it. It's a Ring video. Ring is sponsored by the Daily Wire. Candace Owens works for the Daily Wire. So what if it's a Ring video? Like, the question is, who has access to it? Like if the actual company were to release that, not only would they get sued, but they would lose all credibility. Like, their stocks would plummet. Especially if you do it to someone like Steven Crowder. And he's not ever saying that, well, the company leaked it. Maybe giving medicine to a pit bull might be too hard for her. She doesn't look like the type of woman that can handle a grown pit bull. Depends. I mean, no, like, I disagree with that take. It really depends on the dog, right? So, like, if it's the family dog, they're not going to bite you. I mean, I remember one of my exes, like, she had two massive German Shepherds. Like, they were so fucking massive. Like if they got up on their hind legs, they were taller than her. And these dogs, like, they respected her. Like she could do literally anything she wanted to them. Now, if I was to get close, my life was in danger. Like, those things were El and Diablo. You do not know. But with her, it was fine, you know? So, if they were talking about giving pills to the dogs, then it's probably that this was something that was already done, right? I do not know, like, their dogs in order to assess the situation, but usually an owner is capable of giving pills to the dog. Like, I've not, I mean, there are some cases, right? But in that situation, you'd call the vet. No, he did not hit her, NPC. It's because she's pregnant and the dog medication is bad for her. Is it, though? Like, what, like, just by touching it? What type of medication are we talking about? He was insisting that she put herself and the baby in danger. When my wife was pregnant, I always changed the kitty litter because it was dangerous for my pregnant wife to change it. I guess. I don't know. It's such a domestic dispute, though. You know, like, different houses, different things. Yeah, I guess if my wife was pregnant, I would try to do as much as possible around the house. But it depends, you know? Like, if I'm working 10, 11 hours a day, because, like, this is another thing we don't know. Like, how many hours is Crowder working? Because they seem to live in a glorious mansion over there. So, like, maybe that was his only time off. And the rest of the time he's working. So at that point, you know, it is understandable if you tell the wife, hey, can you not get an Uber? Because, like, it's my day off. I would like to see my parents. I would like to see my friends. Is that really... But this is why I do not want to judge things based on a 3-minute footage. Because I don't know what else he is doing and how they share the burdens around the house. Yeah, they are rich. Like, again, I do not understand why she didn't want to take the Uber. The ones we should feel sorry are the kids. Yes, I mean, this is the tragedy in every divorce. Parents are selfish, and they don't think about the children. People are chomping at the bits to ruin this dude over a nothing burger. It's not a nothing burger. I mean, it is a little burger. You know, like the fact that he said he will fuck her up, and he apologized afterwards, apparently. Yeah, that is a something burger. That is a little burger over there. But there was no crime committed, right? Like, a something burger would be if there was criminal activity involved. If he assaulted her, if he was locking her up, if, like, okay, then it would have been a something burger. But it's also not a nothing burger. There's like a tiny burger over there, a little burger, a tiny bite, but not enough for me to say, oh well, I'm not going to watch his show anymore. I'm definitely not going to take marital advice from him, right? Like, if Steven Crowder or maybe I should, you know, like, if you're the type of person that has a bad relationship, like you're having a bad marriage, and then you realize and you're like, you know what, I did this thing bad. Like, maybe I should warn other people not to do what I did, because it's not good. If you're that type of person, then maybe, you know, you do have something to say about how marriage works. My parents go crazy over the damn dishes. My fucking god, dude. Like, if I were to get into every single minute problem that my parents would go through, holy shit. Like, it was from dishes to how you set the toothbrush, and you didn't place the toothbrush into the correct receptacle, to who takes out the trash, and, like, you know, the idea that, like, every couple is perfect is just bewildering to me. I mean, I'm starting to wonder, is it because I'm in Eastern Europe and, like, the relationships here are a little bit different, but the American ones are so fucking perfect that when they see what Steven Crowder did, everyone is bewildered, right? Because, like, that's what I'm getting from this. It's like, Steven Crowder, what he did is beyond the pale, and everyone else is having, like, a perfect relationship. No one is saying things that they regret later. There is absolutely... like, the level of domestic violence is so low to non-existent that even Steven Crowder, who didn't do any, is considered to be a monster. I don't know. I'm not justifying what he did though, but at the same time, I'm not saying that it's irredeemable, right? Like, I have seen worse. Again, reality shows are the best example. Like, you look at the reality show where people are locked in the same house, Hell's Kitchen, Survivor, Big Brother, you will see much worse. Far worse. And the worst of the worst is when you have an inheritance. Like, that's things that I saw in real life. The whole situation needs more context. Candace Owens from Daily Wire jumping on Crowder too soon. I haven't seen what Candace Owens from the Daily Wire says, but again, with the Daily Wire, there's also the conflict of interest. I mean, they literally had the spat with Steven Crowder, so they're being salty about it. I wouldn't trust them as being very objective in this situation. Your wife, 8 months with twins. I don't understand. Like, he asked her to take an Uber. Like, it's actually safer to go with an Uber than to go with yourself. Because if you're driving, right, like, think about this. You're driving and you're 8 months pregnant, and there's a complication. Who's going to take you to a hospital? You're alone in your car. But if you're in an Uber, then it's more likely that someone will take you there. And by the way, like, I'm saying this because I see the left making this argument. Pregnant women aren't disabled. Like, they can still walk around. Right? Like, you can take the bus, you can go out. I mean, women insist, actually. Like, he wasn't asking her to do manual labor. He wasn't asking her to plow the field. I don't know. Maybe it's just weird. Like, but like, the thing is, like, when Spider-Woman, the comic book, came out, and she was pregnant, and people were saying that, look, like, she can't fight crime, and I understood that. It was the left and the feminists that were saying, well, just because she's pregnant doesn't mean she's bedridden. Okay. Yeah, I've had 2 kids. She's not disabled. I know, like, a lot of women are saying. I don't know why men are coming up and they're insinuating that she's disabled. And like, it's horrible to tell a woman to take an Uber. Like, this is news to me. I didn't know. Because I told my wife to take an Uber a couple of times. I hope I wasn't abusive. I'm starting to be concerned. Like, am I doing something wrong in my relationship? Because I literally gave her money to take an Uber. And I was like, oh, wow, you're not supposed to do that? I mean, I don't know, she's not pregnant. But if she was, should I tell her to get one or not? Because I'm a little bit of a conflict here. It's possible that Steven Crowder is a control freak, okay? Like, I'm not saying that the possibility doesn't exist. In fact, most likely he is, because we heard that from his employees. We see this footage. Right, the situation is being painted. However, let me put it this way, right? If you marry a very beautiful, buxom lady, right, like a vampiress or something, and she's got, like, beautiful titties, and she's very young, very, very desirable, very attractive, and she's very rich. Like, she's a millionaire, right? So she gives you this fucking mansion, she gives you a swimming pool and all of that. Are you not going to put up with some character flaws? Like, do you not expect that she may not be perfect? I mean, dude... I would put out, okay, so she's controlling. Now, if you don't like the fact that she's controlling, why did you marry her? I'm not justifying being a control freak, but at the same time, I don't see Andrew Tate level of control freak. Like, with Andrew Tate, I understood. With Andrew Tate, like, there was this leaked chat log with him, where he literally tells a woman she's not allowed to leave her house. And it wasn't even his wife, it was just a worker. It's like, oh, you're not allowed to go to the mall. That's a crime, actually. Right? Like, that's not being a control freak. That's being a criminal. And by the way, if control freakiness should be outlawed, like, I'm sad to say, but I know many relationships, both from my life and from my relatives and from my friends, where the woman would be the one in trouble. Like, if being a control freak is bad. I mean, I know situations where the woman wants to have access to all the passwords. I know situations where the woman has access to the bank accounts. Right? Like, I don't think you want to go down the path where we criminalize control freakiness. Like, control freakiness is a flaw. It's not an on-off switch, it's a dial. But some people are very control freaks, others not so much. But, like, the question is, do you want to put up with it? Right? So, like, before doing the marriage, you kind of assess the person, and it's very difficult not to realize that the person is a control freak, and that would surprise you later on. I mean, it's possible, but very unlikely. Yeah, it's the problem that on the internet everyone farts rainbows. You know, like no one on the internet is a control freak. No one on the internet says things they regret. No one in the internet has an argument. No one in the internet has a domestic disputes. You know, like no one on the internet, if you monitor them for years, you're never going to find anything like 20 seconds that they said something off the cuff that makes them look like an asshole. Everyone is perfect. You know, it is what it is, I guess. And by the way, like the whole thing with marriage, for better or for worse, it should be like for better or until you become a control freak. Then not so much. But again, like the thing that I don't fucking understand, and maybe someone can explain it to me. If he is a control freak, by not allowing her to take the car, why doesn't she buy her own fucking car? I mean, it's not like they're poor or anything, right? Why doesn't she have a car? Is what I don't understand. Like, can she not work? Does she not have a job? Why does she not? And if she does have a job, why doesn't she have a car? And if people are making the argument, and this is what I noticed, like a lot of leftists are making this argument. If leftists are making the argument that the wife was being abused because she wasn't allowed to drive, right? Like she wanted the car, so she should have gotten it. This is what the lefts are saying. Okay, perfect. If that's the case, when the government wants to take away people's cars by saying that they, like in the European Union, in California, and in many other places, they're talking about gas-powered vehicles should be outlawed, right? So what ends up is like the only ones left are the electric vehicles, which are incredibly expensive. How is that not the government wanting to imprison people and abuse them? That is literally the same argument, right? But like, I guess when the husband does it, it's bad. But when the government does it, it's pure. Well, what if Steven Crowder just used the argument, no, you're not driving the car because we're saving the fucking environment. Right? Like today, I decided that you are not going to pollute. You're going to reduce that carbon footprint, and you're not taking the car today. You're taking it tomorrow. But we're limiting the number of times. Do you think that the left would cherish? I know that Crowder has a Tesla. That doesn't matter. It's not part of this argument, right? The argument is that the left believes that taking away someone's car is abusive. And you're restricting that person's liberty. You're harassing them. They can't move without the car, right? And I agree, by the way. I do agree with that. But why is it that when they see a man do it to his wife, they're like, oh, that's abusive. But when the government wants to do it to everyone, oh, that's progressive. Why is it? But yeah, no, like literally what Dilly has said is the way you can sum up the situation. Marry a jerk with money, the jerk continues to be a jerk, and the internet is shocked. There is no fucking way that I believe she didn't know that he was a jerk. There is absolutely no way. Like, people do not change overnight when it comes to being jerks. They want you to take the bus. Yeah, but like in some situations, you literally cannot. Like if you live in a gated community, the bus just does not go there. So like, what do you do? Other people are like, well, just take an Uber. Dude, like if they ban gas-powered vehicles, you do not know the prices that the Ubers are going to cost. They're going to be insane. They are together since school. I mean, she probably knew. There's no fucking way that she didn't know that he was a jerk. It would be funny if the rant light had been visible. It would. Thank you for being here, Orza. Le Redditor. Haha, you're divorced. Also, I need updates because my so with they, them, second husband. Yeah. No, I'm not taking pride when I see people getting divorced. I don't like, seeing domestic abuse either. I mean, I am desensitized to it, as I mentioned before, because of the very diverse and enriched place that I grew up with in my neighborhood. But the I will fuck you up is the only thing that I would say was like the something burger. Roman Kerry moved to a 15-minute city. Oh yeah, see, this is why they're doing it. But even if it was a 15-minute city, I'm pretty sure if she would have said, like honestly, right? Like this is actually something interesting. So when he told her to take an Uber, that's over the line. Imagine if he told her to walk. Oh my God, you're making the pregnant woman walk. Which, by the way, I would agree. It's like, dude, if you're a billionaire, like, don't allow your wife to walk if she doesn't need to. Welcome to the channel, Mello. I appreciate your sponsorship. Yeah. In the meantime, I want to talk about something else that upsets me. So this is something that concerns the platform, not me as a content creator. But, well, it affects me, but it's not your guys' business, basically. I'm not crying that I'm making less money, but I want to tell you something that's happening on YouTube. So, because of the economic downturn, the ad revenue for YouTube has dropped significantly. They're basically getting less companies putting money, so every content creator gets less. Now, the new CEO, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that they want to bank everything on shorts. So this is why it affects you, and this is why I'm talking about it, because a lot of content creators are now encouraged to do shorts. I refuse to do shorts because, first of all, I'm not good at doing them, right? Like, if I was good at doing shorts, I would make them. But I genuinely cannot do it. It's something that I do not know how. So, I don't want to make them. You guys don't want to watch them. It's the only way to grow your channel, though. But I'm not really sure about that either, because the people who join in for the shorts, they don't stay for the long-term videos. So, you're going to see a lot more content creators doing shorts. And this is why, right? It's basically... Like, if you treat YouTube as a job, it is the correct way of working right now. Like, it's the only way that you can make money and grow your channel. If you don't do shorts, your channel is dying. My channel is not doing very well, but it's stable. But I'm not going to make shorts, because I know you guys are going to be upset about them, and you're going to feel that you're being spammed, and you're not going to like it. So, yeah, regardless of what happens, well, not regardless of what happens, like, if I really see that my channel is dying and the only way to save it is to do shorts, I'll probably do some fucking shorts. But I did try in the past. I didn't like watching my own shorts because they were bad, so I don't want to do something just because it has to be done. The reason it works is that the system which promotes the shorts is different than the system that promotes the long-term videos. So basically, you can get shorts that go viral, and more people get eyeballs on your channel, but again, they do not stay for the long-term comment. So, yeah. That's why, YouTube gets for trying to be cable TV. It's, yeah, I mean, my god, I can't even get into it. Like, YouTube used to be so fun, entertaining, and there were so many creative people. But clearly, we're not going to go back to the golden age. Instead, they're trying to push YouTube to become the new TikTok. I think the way they're thinking of, though, is they're banking on the fact that TikTok is going to be banned in the United States. And it probably will. So if TikTok gets banned in the US, they're hoping that all the TikTokers will move to YouTube and use the shorts, right? So, like, YouTube will transition into this new platform for the Zoomers. But, like, why would you risk alienating your old audience, though? You know, because at the end of the day, long-term video formats still have a place in the market. Like, it is what it is. I thought your shorts were okay. Maybe you could take interesting bits. Yeah, Bray, but you're like one of very few people. Like, I didn't like my shorts. If I don't like them, I don't care if everyone else says they're amazing. I will not put a product that I personally do not enjoy. If it happens that I think of like a really nice short, and I'm like, oh wow, like this is such an amazing idea, but there's no reason to make a long-term video, I can just summarize it in a short, then I will do it. Like literally, if I think of a good content, and I'm like, yeah, well, this would make a great short, I would do it, but until then, no. You can turn shorts off in your feed. I say you make money. You're not making money with shorts. You're just bringing new eyeballs on your channel, right? But that's not the point, Daniel. If a lot of people do not want to watch shorts and they do not know that you can turn it off, I can't force the customer. I'm not the woke ideologue that's going to go like, oh no, it's the customers that are wrong. If the customers don't know how to turn off the shorts from their feed, and I'm making shorts and they're complaining that I'm spamming them, well, I'm not going to upset my customers. Because at the end of the day, you guys are the customer, and I care about you, right? Like, I'm running a business. Like, my business is to entertain you guys. And it's not to spam you. It's not to annoy you. It's not to... And at the end of the day, like, the ones that are here, it's like 226 very loyal viewers that happen to be awake. If I were to make a poll on my channel, and I see that, well, 20% of people don't like shorts, well, 20% of people of 150,000 is a lot of people. So I'm considering about what they want. I like V's couch chats about communism. Well, I try to make them when I can. It's not something that always comes up. Like, I need to have a good talking point in order to discuss that. Maybe long-term format will change into more podcast things on the platform. I don't know. It does seem that YouTube wants shorts and they want live streams. But the problem with live streams, in order to make them entertaining, you need to have a guest. But if you have a guest, then literally anything they can say can give you a terms of service violation. So, when I look at the rules for YouTube, they are so fucking dense, Chad. They are so dense. Like there are things that you wouldn't know can get you in trouble with YouTube, right? So, if I have a guest and they do one of them, I risk getting a community guideline strike. So, what then? What then? This is why, like, most people don't do live streams like they used to, right? Like, the internet blood sports was a thing, and there was a time when Debate Me Bro was a thing. You don't get those anymore because content creators that are big are afraid, literally. That's why. Like, they invested a lot of time into their channels. Like, to grow a channel like mine, it takes like 2 or 3 years, and I'm not even big. So you invest 2 or 3 years, and then you do a live stream, and you lose everything. It's meh. Who do you think you are, Baked Alaska? I want a V medical channel where he performs live diagnosis. See, like that's a great way of having your channel shut down. Like, if you do a medical channel and you actually talk about what you think, oh, medical misinformation. There's like an entire screen worth of terms of service of things that you cannot do. The short of the big girl falling off the cliff and crashing into the water is a great short. Yeah, okay, how do I record that? Because you have to take into account, right? Like, some of the most viral shorts are stuff that are taken by people who are not content creators. Like, you just happen to go in the wilderness camping, and the big girl falls into the lake, and you caught that on camera, you're uploading it, oh, congratulations, you have a short, and now it gets like 1 million views. Like, okay, good luck replicating that. It is what it is. I think this is enough, chat. I think we have talked 1 hour about Steven Crowder's 3-minute video. That's a lot of discussion. We hyper-analyzed it. By the way, I want to ask you another question. You know, all these left-leaning people that are attacking Steven Crowder now, H3, many other. How do you think they would act if Cenk Uygur did literally the same thing? Like, Cenk Uygur told his wife, I don't know if he's married, but let's assume he is. If Cenk Uygur told his wife, take an Uber. And you would say, look, we have one car, and I don't want to be unable to visit my friends, my parents, or go to the gym. So I don't want to be isolated. I want you to take an Uber. Also, an interesting question, right? Like, this is also an interesting fact. So if there is one car, okay, there's one car. Isn't Steven complaining literally about what people say that he shouldn't do to his wife? Like, if his wife takes the car, isn't he the one that's becoming isolated, right? And unable to move? But, like, people on the internet are saying that it's not okay because he doesn't allow her to take the car, which means that he's taking her freedom away. Okay, so basically, if he takes the car, he takes her freedom away. If she takes the car, he takes his freedom away. Like, one person is not going to have freedom because there's only one fucking car. But for some reason, I don't know why people are, well, like, she's pregnant. Yeah, but, like, she's not going to the hospital, right? Like, if she's pregnant, and you're saying that, well, she shouldn't do any activity, shouldn't she stay home then? He can take an Uber. It's a possibility. But why can't she take the Uber? I mean, she's pregnant. Should she drive? It's an interesting conundrum. I'll let you guys figure it out. Let me know what you think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.